I'm good with faces, but I have a lot of trouble with names. What is your name again?
Mitchell Ryan.
Mitchum?
Mitchell.
Mitchell Ryan.
Ryan.
Thank you, Mr. Ryan.
Mitchum's that other actor.
Nice to meet you, Mr. Ryan.
I was in a summer stock company in Virginia, and he came to see the play because he needed some characters in this movie, Thunder Road, that he did. So I got cast in that, and I went over to Asheville, which was about 100 miles away, and stumbled around. I'm 21 years old.
More savage than the Tommy Gun Massacre of the Roaring '20s.
So I'm on the set, and I'm nervous as hell. And the first day, I have a 2-minute scene with Mitchum, which a 2-minute scene with anybody would have been driving me nuts, but a 2-minute scene with Robert Mitchum is like, how awesome can you get? So I'm waiting around to find out here, Jed, who's Jed? Who's playing Jed? And Mitchum was sitting in a chair with a bunch of guys, and he looked over to the stage manager, and so the guy pointed at me, and he looked over, and so he came walking at me, which was like unbelievable. And he gets right up to me and looks at me, we're actually the same height, and says, I'm going to tell you one thing, kid. I'm Big Mitch, and you're Little Mitch, which is one of the first introductions. And what he did then, because I was so nervous, which was great, he blew a take. He blew the first take, so that because he saw how nervous I was, so we were relaxed. Actually, he had also said at that time, do you want to rehearse this fucking thing, or would you rather shoot it? And I said, let's shoot it. I mean, what the hell?
Was this a big step for you to move from being a stage actor to suddenly there you are in a movie? Is it a different approach? How does it work?
Well, it's a totally different approach, except the basics are all the same. There's only one actor I know who is the same in both places, and that's George C. Scott. He doesn't bring anything in for the movies. A lot of people bring stuff in for the movies because the camera's right here. But he was full out all the time.
I'm beginning to smell a big fat commie rat. I mean, supposing Kissoff is lying about that fourth plane, just looking for an excuse to clobber us. I mean, if the spaghetti hits the fan now, we're in trouble.
He was terrifying to everybody around. Even to almost sometimes uncomfortable for the audience, I think, And as an actor, I could see he was in total control. He wasn't losing it. He just had this incredible technique and this enormous power. First thing that Lee Marvin said to me was, why do you think Eugene O'Neill drank so much? I said, I don't know, he was thirsty. While I was rehearsing it, I didn't know what to do or anything. So Lee said, what you do is this. Come here, kid. I'll show you. The camera's over here. You turn your away from the camera so that when you pull, you get your hand on the thing so that when you pull, you turn into the camera and you do it like that. And it looks like you pulled it out really fast. So I said, oh, no, okay, thank you. And first time I did it, the gun went flying. But Lee was great because he actually, in the actual shooting of the movie, he was really helpful. He did little meticulous things that would really help. His characterization and his acting, great lessons in how to play, how to do film, which I didn't know.
Hey, Monty, can you do that?
Why, sure.
Well, then, let's see you do it.
Well, I just did.
What are you talking about?
Well, you got off your horse, I got off my horse. You're standing on the ground, I'm standing on the ground. Ain't that right, Chet?
I guess we all did it, Shorty.
He would lay back on the first take to see where he was. And then he would slowly let it out a little bit, the second take. And then he would really give you something on the close-up. Totally different, It was beautiful.
I knew you'd be coming for me, Monty. No sense wearing out good horses chasing. I figured you'd be here after Sugar told you about Martine.
Should have told him about Chet, too.
There's no use talking, I suppose.
No use.
I'd never been on a horse. I never had a 2.25 pound 45 in my hand, and I never wore chaps before. I don't think I'd ever had boots on either,
I wish I knew something besides cowboying. Well, I ain't gonna ride you down. He's all yours, Monty. See you around.
You're invited to a party. We'll play the deadliest game of all. Hunting 26 men and 1 woman. The hunting party.
The first day we were there, he went out with a few of the old cowboys to pick up a Western twang and stuff, which got to be a real joke because he talked the whole time and we ended up with the British accents. It would have been entirely helpful to him if he just sat there and listened.
When your prey is man, it's always open season. There's no limit and no rules.
I was there 2 weeks, and I had done 2 weeks of shooting, and it was all good, except that Oliver and I and several other guys were always up all night drinking and carrying on, and Reed's a maniac. I mean, he's a total maniac, was a wonderful actor. But, so they couldn't fire him, so they decided to fire me. So I went home Walter, my agent, said that not only will nobody speak to you again, nobody will ever hire you, you're out of it. It's, this is the worst. Well, it turns out Jim Stacy replaced me and went there. And Oliver wouldn't work with them. Said, this guy's no good, get Mitch back, or I quit. And they couldn't believe it. Then they sat down with the money people and said, hey, we got 2 weeks on him. It's the cheapest thing we can do. We've already got 2 weeks shot. Get him back. So the impossible happened. I went back. It was like unbelievable. The first shot I had was I was supposed to ride a bull. It was a rodeo movie with Jimmy Comer was starring as the big hero. The director said, I just want a shot of you on the bull, opening the chute and moving out, then jump off. I'm there with Slim Pickens is right behind me here on the thing, and he said to me, don't worry, Mitch, drunk as you are, you will not get hurt. It will not hurt, whatever it is. You may get killed, but it won't hurt a bit.
Eddie Coyle.
The bank robber, the one from Natick?
That's his sidekick, Artie Van. Eddie doesn't rob banks.
They branch out.
Friends of Eddie Coyle is a great piece. God, that's another Mitchum, where I ran into Mitchum again. Something about that script that nobody seemed to get a handle on. They kept changing it. They kept moving it around, and everybody got a little shaky about all that and everything. I was playing the district attorney, who was totally corrupt.
I wonder, you don't suppose that Artie and Scalise made that withdrawal from the bank, do you?
Just a thought. I wonder where Eddie fits in.
Oh, he's Armin's a wise guy. He's done it before. A friend of yours that runs a saloon, is that the same saloon we talked about putting a wire in a few weeks back?
That's the one.
Okay, you write it up and I'll present it to the attorney.
Maybe you ought to talk about it some more.
It's not going to do you any good in your head. You wanted a wiretap.
By the time I get it written up, it'll all be over with.
Well, that's what you get when you get to be an expert, kid. Or maybe you'd rather go back to the pussy, Patsy?
I would go and listen to Mitchum and Higgins. They were both fantastic raconteurs, and they would go on and on. It was like a debate society. And they were both brilliant, and they both had enormous knowledge. I had met Bobby Blake, Robert Blake, and he had done he was doing a TV series, I forget the name of it, but he did another series that where I played a private insurance detective, and we did a pilot. It didn't sell, and it was a pretty good little picture. But then we did Electric Light. Light in Blue turned out to be a beautiful movie. I mean, it really turned out to be a really exceptional movie.
I want to blow your rotten little heart out! No!
This country is undergoing a precisely formulated conspiracy of police genocide.
He's an incredible actor. He's really a fine, fine actor. But he's his own worst enemy most of the time. Not that anyone would notice, because they just hate him. But I happen to be like him.
Wintergreen, let me tell you something, a little something about police work and women. If you mix the two, you can't do justice to either one. You get my point?
Yes, sir.
He fired the writer, director, because for his justification reasons, being that the guy couldn't handle it. I mean, he wrote the piece, and he had a great take on it, and he wanted to do it, but it shows you the power of whatever. And so he took over, and a guy named Jim Gorsio took over the directing. He put the money in it, I guess. It was shot by a great cameraman, Conrad Hall, who turned it beautiful stuff. One day, and he came to Blake when it's going on. He said, "Stop. If you ever come near my camera crew again, picking up everything and leaving, you can fuck up all the actors you want to, but don't ever speak to my camera crew again." Coming from Connie Hall, that was like the King of England said, "Just knock it off." And Blake couldn't say anything. He didn't say anything, so it was really interesting. And I went over to him and said, "God, Connie, that was great." He said, "Who are you? What is this?" We both of us stood there with our dicks in our hand while he fired this guy for absolutely no reason, and we didn't say anything. So I pipe up now at the end of the movie, big deal. It was incredible, classy, kind of marvelous thing. This is how the audition went. You don't have to read anything. Have you ever been to High Sierras? I said, "No, I've never have." He said, "You're in for a great treat. It's one of the greatest places in the world, the High Sierras. It's maybe my favorite place. And we have a great cast, a whole bunch of guys. Stefan Girach, I can't remember all the names, but they're a whole bunch of character actors, marvelous guys, and you're going to have a great time. And do you want some of this sandwich?"
I'm just a simple man of God.
Well, it's time we unsimplified you, Reverend. Borders, Morris & Short were professional gunfighters on the payroll of the Lago Mining Company to protect our interests and the interests of this town, which are identical. They stood around drinking beer and looking snotty for a full year. Then one day before we actually needed the bastards, they managed to get themselves killed. So if you've got a suggestion, we'd be delighted to hear it. Otherwise, take your conscience elsewhere while we think about saving your ass.
He was so simple and so direct. I mean, the guy's an incredible director. He doesn't have any patience if you're not prepared. And if you're prepared, it goes great. He doesn't ever lose his temper, never gets upset. When he does give you a note, which is hardly ever, it's very simple and very direct,
What's the matter, Morgan? Anybody special turn on you?
You want to spell that out, Drake?
Spell it yourself. I'm not going to jeopardize everything I built here because some blonde bitch and he threw you out of
God
bed.
damn you, don't you talk to me that way.
I'll talk to you any way I like. I'll say anything I have to say as long as I'm running this company.
Well, say it, but you could listen once in a while yourself,
What's the matter, Morgan? You're not getting your fair share of the profits?
Profits? It's not the profits.
After the take, he said, I don't think you need to get quite as mad. and so, whatever you think about it, but, which was great. That's about the only note I got in the whole movie.
Wait a minute. We had no choice in that matter, and you know it.
Wait a minute.
The big mistake we made was hiring that man Duncan in the first place, and you did that all by yourself.
All by myself.
What? Shut up. We can trust one another. This whole town had a hand in what happened.
The only time that we did more than one take, and this time we did 3 takes, is when I got shot with a double-barreled shotgun into Mono Lake. he said, "No, sorry, Mitch. God, I'm sorry. Both cameras missed it, and blah, 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 blah." So he got another camera out. So I had 3 cameras this time. And same thing. Something happened. And the guy said, "I got it, but I'm not sure. I think it's, we can do better. Because we really want to get this, Now, each time I have to go put on a whole new wardrobe, take all this wet wardrobe off, dry it down, put the new wardrobe on, get hooked up to the catapult again. The third one, crash. I started to get up and kind of stagger out of the water. And the cameras are being carried away. The whole crew, everybody's walking away. and
abandoned.
And Clint says over with a bullhorn, "Okay, Mitch, get dried up. We're going. That's a wrap. The drinks are on you tonight." Another picture, Lethal Weapon, was a total scary mess for everybody. Nobody knew what was going on. This poor kid wrote the script and sent it to Joel Silver, and Joel took it and gave it to Dick Donner, and they were all rewriting it, and the kid was there, and I met him, and he was talking to him, and he said, I said, "How's it going?" He said, "No, I think it's pretty good." I said, "You got a nice script there." And he said, "Well, they keep rewriting it, and I guess that's okay. They say they're making it better."
He's a criminal's worst nightmare. A cop who enjoys the danger.
No guns, no jiu-jitsu, just bring him down.
Do you really want to jump? Well, then that's fine with me. Come on.
Wait, what do you mean? Wait a minute. What the...
It was a kind of a mess.
He was ready to retire. Now, he's gonna wish he had.
Gun! Oh!
Raj, meet your new partner.
New partner?
So we were all absolutely, totally shocked and dumbfounded when it turned out to be an enormous hit and made like $150 million in the first couple of months. And then went on to become a franchise, which made everybody rich. I mean, Mel went from $1 million for the first one to $10 million on the second one. It's like incredible. And poor Mitch, I got killed.
No way you live, no way.
A lot of takes on all the scenes in Lethal Weapon, and you sort of forget the fun scenes, and that's the ones that Dick Donner, being a very smart, incredible director, used. And so that when you see the movie, the relationship between those two guys is incredible. It really makes the thing soar in a way. And the bad guys, me burning Gary Busey's arm and all that stuff, is, they're black killers, they're the baddest guys that can be, which makes it a great, frightening kind of thing,
General, Mr. Mendez is here.
Order! You call this music? I didn't get a band 10 times as good for half the price. Now, I'm going to pack this place tonight. I don't want to hear any of this shit. Now, let's get it right.
Ah, Mr. Mendez. How are you?
Hey, I'm fine. Where the hell did you get him? Psychos or us?
I don't think you're funny.
I don't think this whole goddamn setup's funny. You're using mercenaries, for Christ's sake. Tell me I'm wrong.
No, you're not wrong.
And you expect me to trust these fucking bozos?
My people are loyal, Mr. Mendez. They are loyal to me.
Oh, bullshit.
Do you smoke?
What the hell has that got to do with anything? Do I smoke?
Do you smoke?
Yeah.
Give me your lighter.
My lighter?
Your lighter!
Yeah, okay, yeah, right here. Here. Hey, man, what the fuck is wrong with you guys?
Shut your mouth!
Jesus Christ!
Shut up! Don't move.
Oh, hey, man.
Mr. Joshua, your left arm, please.
Oh, hey, man, you guys are fucking gone. You know what I'm saying? Oh, Jesus Christ, man. You guys are fucking crazy, man. Come on, man.
Have Endo look at that, Mr. Joshua.
Yes, sir.
You wish to do business with us, yes?
Jesus Christ.
You wish to make a purchase, yes?
Oh, yeah. Yes, yes. Jesus Christ, yes.
You never really know. I mean, you sort of know you're in a great movie. I mean, you know, and you sort of know, and you don't really care whether it sells or not. You know that this movie is really good, and there's things going on. It's why you got in the business. It's why you became an actor.
You bastard kid!
What a brave bunch you fathered, Drury Campbell. Common thieves that'll shoot at a child.
Oh, winter people. Winter people. Shot in the summer. It's interesting that they cast a guy in that part that I played, who I was at the time maybe 50, I don't about that old. And this guy is supposed to be an old patriarch, maybe 70 or so. And so they cast a guy who's 70 years old, and lo and behold, he can't pass the insurance. He's got a bad heart, so they can't insure him. So they're worried. So they let him go. And I was, I guess, second choice. So they called me, and I can't get there. So I get there, looking young and pristine, 50. So Ted Kotcheff, who was the director, said, "Well, what can we do? What can we do? What can we do?" So the makeup guy, whose name I don't remember, wonderful guy, said, "Well, I'll build him a beard. We'll have a beard." And he's got the long hair, so we'll just sort of gray that up and mess it around and everything. And I'm not really keen on makeup. I mean, I don't care much about that. But this guy was an artist, a real artist, this makeup guy. He would not build a beard. He said, "They're no good. They don't look. So I have to build you one, make it every day." So I had to come in 2.5 hours early every call to get this beard put on.
I'm sorry it was cold. I know how we favor our youngest. I feel for you, sir.
We all die, Mr. Wright. What say?
We all die, Mr. Campbell.
It is written the wages of sin are death. What say, Mr. Wright? Any sin here? An eye for an eye, Mr. Wright.
Vengeance is mine, saith the Lord.
The thing about Kurt Russell that was really interesting is that I had never met him, and when he came to the set, the first thing I said to him, I said, "How many movies have you done?" "You were about 11 when you were started in the movies, it seemed like." And he said, "God, I haven't even counted them. I have no idea how many movies I've made." And I said, "Well, look at you. You're a young punk still, and you got more movies than God."
Cole didn't die because of us, Mr. Campbell. None of us across the river.
What's he mean, Harmon?
He died because of you, sir.
God damn it, don't come into my camp and accuse me.
He was afraid of you.
Cole, afraid?
He was in love. In love with Collie Wright. Afraid to tell you that.
Cole wasn't afraid of anything.
If that were true, he'd be alive. He'd be married, raising his son, a bond between the Wrights and your family.
Give me my gun!
My agent said, it's just like Shakespeare. You'll love it, Mitch. And I got there and said, well, it wasn't anything like Shakespeare, but it was a good script.
Mr. Allen, you remember Fletcher Reed?
Oh, yes. Nice to see you again, Fletcher.
Liar, Liar also was a huge hit.
By the way, I'll be observing you in court this afternoon. I've been hearing some good things about you.
But shooting it was an unbelievable, funny ordeal because he is, well, he's just amazing.
Fletcher has just been telling me how much he thinks of you. Well, why don't you tell Mr. Allen? Well, what do you think of him?
He's a pedantic, pontificating, pretentious bastard, a belligerent old fart, a worthless, steaming pile of cow dung. Figuratively speaking.
That's the funniest damn thing I've ever heard! You're a real card, Reed. I love a good roast!
What was so interesting about it is that he got us all together the first day and said, you know, if this was the old days, Gary Cooper would play this part. He would be magnificent. It would be the kind of thing that he could do, a kind of farce that he would do. It'd be wonderful. And I want to do it like that. I want to do it exactly like that. I'm going to knock off all the shtick, but just play the situation, because the situation is incredible. So we were all saying, hey, that's great. That'd be marvelous. It probably will work, and everything's marvelous. Fine. First day, he started his stuff.
That would mean that you lied about your age to make yourself older. But why would any woman want to do that?
I changed it so I could get married.
And the truth shall set you free!
He didn't get back away from it one bit. It was really amazing. I guess he talked himself out of it.
The son of a bitch pulled it off!
I mean, he would shoot 20 takes, and pick the best one. And then he would look at them all and then decide maybe we'll do one or two more. Or I mean, it's like, after that came Dharma and Greg, which was a great part. I mean, a really marvelous part of the very rich, stuffy, and they would write me some great stuff. I mean, really funny stuff.
Now, if you're unhappy about something, don't just sulk and go off and clean your guns. It's not helpful. And it doesn't scare me.
Kitty, I can't feel my toes.
Oh, don't be so dramatic. Now, about our sex life. How do you think we might improve it?
Well, once in a while we could have sex.
All right, fair enough. Now, about the humming.
You want me to hum?
Edward, you do hum.
Then what's the problem?
And after the pilot, they bought 2 years. So we had 2 years, to look forward to, and then it went on.
Why are you doing this?
Dad, I don't want to turn around when I'm 60 and wonder what I did with my life.
Is that what you think I've done?
Well, no. I don't know. Are you happy?
I don't understand that question.
Well, if you didn't have to worry about money or responsibility or prestige, what would you do?
Boy, there's another stumper.
I keep sending these complaints into the Screen Actors Guild. You've got to do something about these 20-hour weeks. You're driving me nuts. It's a joke. It's like Monopoly money and no work. I mean, 3 scenes, 3 funny, marvelous written scenes, which you can do in a half an hour. And that's it. You go in on Tuesday, rewrites on Wednesday, run-throughs on Thursday, and shoot it on Friday for a live audience.
I cut hair and I was damn good at it, too.
What?
I know how people should wear their hair.
I don't, what?
It's about shape. It's about symmetry. It's about understanding what is pleasing to the eye. Abby, forgive me. I've been meaning to do this ever since I first saw you. Just let it fall by your face and softly lay there.
Wow, you're right.
See, it's a gift.
One of the things that I had met such a great gentleman, Pakula, doing The Devil's Own, and not long after that I received the news in the paper that he had been killed in an automobile accident, some terrible freak thing, which was really tragic, because he was such a gentleman and such a talented man and such an interesting fellow. And that's what you meet in this business. You meet really wonderful, strange, marvelous personalities, and all the way through the line.
You did good, Tom. Grand jury's kind of backed up.
Yeah, 2 or 3 weeks. You talked to Sheila yet?
I'm gonna wait till I get home.
You want a lift?
Tommy?
No, I'm okay.
You Diaz, huh?
Yes, sir. That mutt, he took 2 shots at me. He broke in.
Is your PBA rep?
Yes, he is.
Didn't he tell you that you don't have to make a statement for 48 hours?
Yes, he did.
Take his advice. Tommy?
Yes, sir.
So I had some really nice scenes with Harrison Ford, and which is another side angle that happens to actors, is that there's always a debate of whether it's better to have your part cut down before you shoot it, or to go to the screening and see that it's not there. So this is sort of how this happened, that they cut about half of it down.
Scenes you never even played in?
No, I was in them.
Okay.
No, that's better than shooting the scenes and then seeing they're gone. After the wonderful run of Dharma and Greg, which came right after this, I retired. But before I retired, I had worked on that show for 5 years and accumulated money so that I could. And I must say, the run was incredible looking back on it.